Yes.
And Councillor O'Brien, can you hear us? Okay, we are connected. Okay. Let's get this public meeting going. So it is 12/11, September 12th, 2025. Just coming off of the September the 11th. I want to thank our fire department, Mr. Gibbon, our fire chief, and all the fire department. We were at the St. Stephen's Parish where all the nominations were involved. Councillor Hines was there representing the Royal Canadian Legion. No, as just a
preference.
veteran. Okay, close enough.
Close.
And it was interesting while we were in to the service, our fire department got called and a whole pew of first responders had to leave. So not that it wasn't fitting, but it just goes to show that when you have a full-time fire department and auxiliaries, that they're available and they're responding 24/7. And most of the time for anybody that sleeps 8 to 10 hours a day, while all they're sleeping in the town, they're ready to go to protect life and property. So I'll call the meeting to order. I would ask a member of council that we open up the meeting.
I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second by Councillor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I just want to remind council too that while you're speaking, if you could speak up a little bit, because when we have somebody on a teleconference, the speaker is kind of facing me. I'm chairing the meeting, but if you could speak up a little, I'd really appreciate it. That goes for management should they be questioned on events. Okay, I'd also like to welcome members of our guests in the lobby. We have some guests with genuine interest, supporters, and would-be candidates for question. Oh, all in favor? Oh, I didn't say Carrie. Okay, Carrie. Yeah. And anyways, so all of our guests would be candidates in the upcoming general election. Thanks for putting your names forward. It is a piece of work. As we well know, I've had 10 years at it, Councillor Hines. But I got to say, there's nobody tougher than Councillor Laura Elwood. She's got 30, how many years, Laura?
32.
32 years. Oh my God. She's tougher than the rest. Anyways,
You
our
got that
landing.
right.
Steamboat in the whole of Bay St. George area is home to rich, diverse, and vibrant rural Indigenous communities. Located on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk, the lands and waters and around us have traditionally served as a gathering place for the Mi'kmaq. The broader region of Newfoundland and Labrador continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. We honor and pay respect to the past, present, and future caretakers of these territories. Okay, I would ask a member of council that we approve the agenda as circulated.
Move.
Moved by Councillor Darren Roberts, second by Councillor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Carried. Item number 4, approval of minutes. Be it resolved that the minutes for August 21st, 2025 public meeting of council be approved. These minutes were circulated by our town clerk, Jennifer Brake. I would ask a member of council that we approve the minutes.
moved.
Moved by Councillor Laura Elwood, second.
Second.
Second, Councillor Myra White. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Councillor O'Brien, did I hear an aye? Okay, carry. Time for a coffee. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. We just carried that. Are there any matters arising from those minutes? No matters arising? Also like to welcome our management team also to the table today, in case I forgot. Okay, proclamations and delegations, we have none, but we just raised the flag for Terry Fox, an iconic Canadian that will go down in history for 7 generations to come, I'm sure. And we lost another Canadian icon,
What
Mr.
time?
Ken Dryden, just recently. But these,
Mr. Mayor, the Terry Fox Run here is going to be held at the YMCA at 12 o'clock on Sunday for registration.
okay, just for anybody that's interested in attending and showing support, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, item number 7, I'll turn it over to our Chair of Finance. Item 7 for 7.1, Councilor Myra Lee, you can take it away.
Thank you. Item number 7, Finance Committee Report, 7.1, Accounts Payable. Be it resolved to approve accounts payable for September the 12th, 2025, in the amount of $366,458.90. I saw.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second by Councilor Darren Roberts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor O'Brien? Carried.
Item 7.2, expense checks, August 2025. Be it resolved that the town of Stephenville approve expense checks for the month of August 2025, totaling $245,695.97. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder. Second, Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Free water and sewer tax. Be it resolved to approve water and sewer tax adjustments in the amount of $2,944.72. I so move.
Moved
Second.
by Myra White, second by Councilor Laura Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
7.4, business tax. Be it resolved to approve business tax write-off in the amount of $256.32. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
7.5, sponsorship program. A, be it resolved to approve sponsorship to Long Range Small Business Committee for Lifetime Achievement Award in the amount of $1,000. I so.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Darren Roberts. Before I call for the vote, I just want to say that they do some great work during this year, every year, on Small Business Week and all the activities involved. And small and medium-sized businesses in Canada contribute 90% of Canada's GDP. We may have some very large companies in Canada like Bombardier, but big companies only represent 10%. Companies such as Syncrude and Suncor, but it's a small business, not just in Canada, but every other country in the world, that drives the economy. So I just want to say that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
7.5B, be it resolved to approve sponsorship to Kids Eat Smart Foundation NL for Kids Eat Smart Radiothon in the amount of $1,000. Each dollar equals one meal for a child. There are 4 schools in Stephenville that participate in the Kids Eat Smart program, with a total of 91,200 meals served in 2024 to 2025. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councilor Maurice Hines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilor O'Brien? Got it. Carried.
7.5C, be it resolved to approve sponsorship to the Knights of Columbus in the amount of $1,000 for their September 11th encumbrance
Ecumenical.
service. The event is open to the public. I so move.
Moved by Councilor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
second Councillor Laura Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carry.
7.5D, be it resolved to approve sponsorship to the Bay St. George Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $1,000 to sponsor the Bay St. George Chamber of Commerce 70th Anniversary Gala on September the 27th. I so.
Move by Councillor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councillor Dan Roberts. Just one quick thing on the, it used to be called the Stephenville Chamber of Commerce once upon a time. A little bit of history that the Chamber of Commerce in Stephenville was the first Chamber of Commerce to be formed in Newfoundland and Labrador. And it was probably carried through in its formation of stardom because Chamber of Commerce were very popular in the United States of America. And with commerce being so aggressive and robust in Stephenville during the U.S. Air Force Base, it just goes to show that the influence that the U.S. Air Force Base had in Stephenville. On that note, all in favor?
Aye.
Carry. Okay,
Item number
7.6.
7.6, request for contribution. Be it resolved to approve a contribution of $1,000 towards the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts and Recreation. A grant approved of $9,000 to support Stephenville in Color Phase 1 mural project. The project will add murals to buildings, streets, and public areas throughout the town. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second.
Second.
Second by Councillor Maurice Simon. I just want to say I give credit to our Economic Development Office, Mr. Mike Ratter, who has been doing tremendous work on our cultural piece in the town when it comes to our Acadian French culture and our Indigenous culture. And these applications, a lot of people don't realize it's not just applying for funding. You have to apply, then you have to follow through. And then when the project's completed, you got to clue up that project. So it is very taxing and it's very taxing on our human resources, but it's good work in our office. And there's a lot of funding out there, but it takes human capital and time to go after it.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to add for everyone who's here, it seems like we're going through it rather quickly, but the sponsorship program has certain requirements and it's all vetted before it comes to council table and discussed previously. So
yeah,
it is more detailed than it appears here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carry. Okay, we
I have
have a late item, I understand.
I have a late item, 7.7, award of tender. Be it resolved that the Town Council of Stephenville award the RFP 2025-10 to Pivot Housing Solutions, Inc. in the amount of $65,000 plus HST to develop a comprehensive master development plan, including conceptual layout, land use recommendations, funding strategy, and implementation roadmap for parcel of land behind the hospital. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, seconder.
Second.
Second, Councillor Laura Aylward. Any question?
Yes, that's looks like, but the HST is about $75,000. Could we have a little understanding that there are some underfunding partners that are going to be there?
Yeah, so this is done as a step in the process where we have applications that are before the Federation of Canadian Municipalities that will fund part of this type of work as well. And then we already have an active file with them, which would potentially see up to 80% of that funding recoverable from FCN. As well, part of the overall process would see us applying to Canada Mortgage and Housing and that would be a different funding program, but potentially for housing accelerator, affordable housing, depending, whatever, and they all are reimbursable elements. So sometimes you have a percentage that would come from FCM up to 80%, depending on the program that it gets placed under. So secondly, you have the CMHC piece, which would fund possibly the difference depending on what it is that was developed out of this program. The third partner we have that has an interest in developing some of this land is the Halibu group, and they have committed an amount of monies, I think on the order of $12,000 towards the elements of this program. So effectively, it's steps and investment that will be recoverable then to the town through the sale of properties on said land. Some of the land that we've already, committed to supporting community groups with, but generally the sale of properties on that would counteract any expenditure the town actually had. So it could be as low as $13,000 in total. But again, our thoughts are that there will be many different amounts of funds coming forward towards it, and it could end up costing us zero at the end of the day. But we don't have the actual approved amounts yet, and that's a part of the process.
Yeah, that was my next question. What is going to be the taxpayers' bill at the end? That was sort of.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if I can speak, if you share for me, if you don't mind. Yeah, I'd just like to speak on this for a second. In the municipality, there's a lot of work that's got to be done on asset management and future planning. If you don't do any future planning for expansion, and all of a sudden you get a demand, you're really not ready for it. So this map here is something that we presented to the public in the past. This was a, sorry for that, Charlie. So this was from consultant Uplands that did a master plan for Stephenville's expansion as Stephenville grows. And growth is dependent on economics. We've got significant major projects in play. No final investment decision made, but should even just one of them happen, it will require an expansion for Stephenville. So if you look at this map, everything that's highlighted in different colors, it's different applications of planning and development. It could be commercial, it could be everything from tiny homes to single detached dwellings to multiplex to condos and so forth. So what they did, they identified a priority. So this area here would be the first party for expansion for the town, and this is primarily the base area. So all the infrastructure is there, all your water and sewer is in place. And what they recommend is that you infill your town as much as you can because it protects urban sprawl. Because putting water and sewer costs multi-millions of dollars. So you would try to infill. This area here would encompass about 2,000 persons growth for the town of Stephenville. Second phase going up towards the subdivision off of Queen Street and Glen Street Extension. This area would have about 5,000 person growth. This big section up here going up into a road, this would be Route 460 up here. That would handle about 8,000 residents. But there's no water and sewer there. So you would look at it into it. So what we're speaking on now is doing the master plan that would identify the mixed development. And that would be affordable homes, single detached and so forth. And this is these two blocks right here. So that's one of the high priorities for the town to have an expansion as we grow. Because as you well know, Stephenville is no different than most towns in the country. There's a housing shortage. And we have to do our part, and management has done a phenomenal job doing the necessary work to bring the council so we can get our planning done. So when we're ready to go, you have that done, and it's just a matter of doing tenders and going out to the marketplace with your developers to get the planning going. So I just wanted to go over that just a little bit.
Question?
Sure.
Hello?
Sir, go ahead.
Am I correct in interpreting what our CAO said? That any cost to the town will be recoverable through the sale of the property?
After the property is developed, if in fact we do decide to proceed with the sale of lots, et cetera. So those lots in any subdivision development would normally come back to the town based on a formula that was put into the subdivision development agreement.
So in other words, yes.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
The land in question, just to clarify, it is town property.
Yes, yeah, I'm aware of that, but I just come to attention that we would recover any costs or try to recover any costs to a sale of any property.
Yeah.
In that area.
And it may be, the cost may be minimalized by virtue of the applications and support of the various government federation programs.
Yeah, no matter what, if it's 12,000 or 60,000, whatever cost, we will try to recover it to the sale of the property.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, good questioning, good debate. So I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Councillor O'Brien? Carrie,
That is the last.
that's the last item. Okay, so we are going into, our planning. Let me put on my glasses here. So I'll turn over the chair to, Councillor Maurice Lyons on the planning committee. So the first one, 8.1, I'm in conflict, so I'm going to
Yes.
step away from the table.
You hear me, Tom? Okay, it's Maurice here pretending he's Tom Rose. Okay. Okay, in the planning and development report, 8.1, a approval of comprehensive development plan Hillier Avenue. Be it resolved to approve comprehensive development plan for Hillier Avenue. This would include development of 15 on-service residential lots in the Hillier Avenue area for residential dwellings. No more dwellings will be permitted until further water studies are completed. I so move.
Second. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Question?
Question? Okay, if question.
Question? I got no problem with the rezoning part of it. I'm concerned about the actual development. Is there anything there saying that it's going to be an organized development, or people can just develop or build whatever they want? I was wondering if someone, the management could talk about that.
So we'll have Matt, who's handled this whole process, advise of how this would unfold, because there are, I think there's 2 landowners up there. The town owns some land in the area that was subject to a previous, it was taken over by the town, but it's going to be given back to the family, one of the families. So maybe you could just explain what the thoughts were on the number of houses and how it would be developed, the sizing of the lots, et cetera, the matters that came up through your deliberations.
Yeah, so,
And how would it look? Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so when we went, when this file, came to my desk, when it went through last time, there was questions that came back from Water Resources about, is there any basically, you know, just basically any risk to the protected wellhead area? You know, the town and council moved to have a water study completed. With that water study, to put in basically how many potential lots for the study. It's hard to determine it. But we went with 15 just through the conversations and stuff that we've had with landowners up there who potentially showed interest. We probably went a little bit more than what we had interest, just so we can make sure that we bring some level of fairness to development up there. In terms of the rezoning type, so it's currently zone comprehensive development, so because it's zone comprehensive development, we need to have a comprehensive development plan. Part of that plan was to take into account the water study and what kind of services are gonna be out there. Obviously, there's no municipal services, so the zoning development plan needs to take into account lot sizing for septic and for shallow well development. So within the comprehensive development plan, there's requirements only for shallow wells and for septic development. Both are subject to service now approval prior to any development permits being issued to the applicant. The zoning size obviously up there is very similar, bit bigger lots than what you would see is currently zoned in other areas where there's no infrastructure, which falls under our development boundaries, which is including Holbrook, Knowles Pond, Gull Pond, Little Port Harmon, all very, very similar. Lot size, you're looking at are an acre sizes, which is a recommendation from one of our consultants from Water Resources and through conversations from individuals who have the experience of putting in septic and shallow wells. In terms of what the development would look like, you know, when someone submits an application for something like this, you know, they will basically submit to us their plans and where they want to develop. You know, they would have to show us, you know, how they meet national building code. So say, for example, you know, they basically submit their plans, right? Like they got to show us the size of the lots that they're putting in. They need to verify to us that they have the proper provincial approvals prior to getting the issuance. And yeah, so is there anything else that you like to ask around those questions?
Yeah,
Like, access to the
Next,
property.
So what is it?
Darren, are you gonna go next? You want to?
Oh, no, you go ahead, Surveyor Councilor Hines, you go ahead.
Okay, not a problem, thank you. Yeah, I know the devil is in the detail.
Yeah,
I was looking at the roads, there's one main road.
yeah,
And part of that is anybody who's going to build, really, they can build anywhere they want, because
Yeah.
it says the area.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a number of roads going off the main one,
potentially, yeah.
okay, and it has to be maintained by the owner of that
Yeah.
road. Sort of my concern is that it has to be maintained.
Yeah.
Which may be a bit of an expense, and you may have a whole array
Yeah.
of homes going anywhere.
Yeah.
I had visualized, I guess incorrectly, number of homes being along that
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah.
So for, I guess, ease of maintenance, there'd be one road to maintain. For fire services, ambulance services, there'd be one road to maintain.
Yeah.
I'm now visualize a whole number of roads which may or may not be
Yeah.
well maintained.
Yeah.
And what happens if the road is not maintained? It's outside of
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fire department, ambulance has to go there and assist going.
Yeah.
That's sort of my concern.
Yeah. So with that, so, you know, that's, you know, with that situation, so if someone come to us and say, for example, that they're not right off of the main drag and they're putting an access in, they need to put their access up to national building code standards. They would have to show us that in their planning. So, for example, you know, there is national building code that clearly states for fire and life safety services that your road needs to be 6 meters wide. If it's a dead end, there needs to be a 12-meter turnaround for the fire truck to get around. And these are, you know, and Don can verify this. It's similar situations that they have in Colebrook, Knowles Pond. Little Port Harmon is not publicly maintained. It's a privately maintained road. When we were doing services for Gull Pond, that was one way in, one way out. That's maintained by the club as well. So it'd be a similar circumstances to that. It's not just as simple as someone coming in and saying that they're just going to put a road in, and they got to show us that they're going to have up to national building code specs. In terms of, you know, how many roads it is, well, you know, those applications, you know, will have to come back, you know, to council to have a review. We are still gonna, you know, have a chat about those things as well. But, you know, we don't know, like, the way that we took the whole area was the purpose of trying to make the situation fair for all users up in that area, all the people who have land rights up there and they want to build. So that was the lens that we took it in, was trying to make it as fair as possible for everybody.
I'm gonna ask you an unfair question, but it's okay if I ask you an
Yeah,
unfair
no,
question. Okay. Do you think that some of that portion should be
Yeah.
included? Because
Yeah,
that's going off to municipal affairs.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
the more detail that is there,
yeah.
I think it's more important. That's,
Yeah, no, it's, we're getting into the firearm safety side of things, right? Yes. We're taking a look. Yeah.
That was, thank you, Councillor Hines. That was part of my, concern. But, now that Matt brought something else up,
Gary,
they got, sorry?
Councilor Blind's talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear him, say.
Oh, can't hear him. What's he saying?
Tom, you might have to repeat that. You want to bring him up to the mic maybe, and so that people can. So there, if Derek can hear, people online with it here.
Okay, Tom, we're going to get you to repeat that again, please.
Consideration yet to. I think we need to defer this until we have at least more input and more answers to the questions that have just been asked around the table, short.
On
No,
that,
no deferring. This has gone on long enough. Everything's been approved. Water Resources have approved everything. Matt Sims just described everything. And as far as I'm concerned, it's been going on for over 30 years, and this should be approved. Those properties down there that will be built, like Matt said, are all going to be approved, all going to be done in the correct way. And it would be an asset to the town to have at least 15 more properties down there and more taxes for the town. And it's gone on long enough, and there's no such thing as deferring this. This has to be voted on and approved today, as far as I'm concerned. So it's not fair what's going on. It's been going on too long. It's been studied forever and a day. So in my view, it's time to get on with this. And Matt Sims, as the development and planning, has done a great job with this and all the properties that's on the go. And it's no different from, you will see houses lined up, beautiful homes with their own driveway paved and all that kind of stuff. So there's no issue with this as far as I'm concerned. And I would recommend that this be approved today.
Thank you, Councillor Elward. Could we have Councillor O'Brien, please have a chance to finish what he was saying?
Okay.
I realize how much work he's put into it, but I think there's still more work that needs to be put into it. I mean, we already have some development up there that we come to find out after the fact that all the studying that we done was incomplete and not right up to par. So you mean I don't see any reason why not to defer it until, so again, some of the questions that need asked today are answered more substantially. You mean it's as you said, this has been going on for 30 years, so a few more weeks it shouldn't hurt it.
Tom, for the last 30 years, we didn't have the background of people planning and doing what had to be done in a town. We have people here with the expertise, degrees, and they have went and done all this work, and you're still saying, let's keep on moving this stuff. Don't make don't make a solution for it. It has to be done. What do we have? Do we bring in the premier of the province and have him hire somebody else for us to get higher up? I don't know where this stops. I think it has to stop. 30 years of trying to get something done. There's something wrong with that property.
Thank you, Councillor Wade. Councillor Roberts, you had something that you were trying to say, please?
Yes. I just want to go back to something else. I'm not trying to stop this development whatsoever. some things have been done there, and Matt done some excellent work. The questions I'm asking, I want to protect the taxpayers of Stevensville from any cost or liability. Now, Matt brought up about the road and the turnaround for the fire truck. Who is going to be responsible to ensure that happens and that is maintained for the next umpteen years? So, for example, Darren Roberts put a place up there, and I done it according to the regulations, but I neglected it for the next 10 years, and I sold it for Southern Ontario, and then the house burns down. Who's liable?
Darren, I don't know where you're going with this, Councillor
I'm trying to
Roberts.
minimize the liability for the citizens of Stevensville if something happens up there, and the possibility that we could be sued because we never follow up on all the regulations.
But we did, Councillor Roberts. It's all been done. It's all been done.
No, what we
Okay,
did.
Councillor Roberts, could you let Councillor Allen just answer
I'm
it?
sorry.
And then,
My
again, please.
apologies.
Look, I'm sick and tired for all these years talking about this situation. And I cannot believe our Councillor O'Brien is going on with this today. And Darren, I can't understand what you're trying to say. Matt's after explaining everything. That road, again, I'll say it, has been used by the town for almost 30 years to get to the water tower. And the Roses owned the road and never ever said, you can't use it. So, you know, to me, this is, I don't know what you'd call it, but I think this has been going on long enough. And Matt explained it thoroughly. And like Myra said, we got to get the premier in here or somebody. We've gone to the highest that we can go to make sure that everything is okay, the water supply, everything is good. And to me, this would be an asset to the town.
Councillors, thank you for your input. I think right about now, we're just repeating ourselves. I think we should look at bringing it to a vote. Yes, sure, please.
A couple of questions that could be answered if given the opportunity. Darren asked about how do we know about the turnaround piece and the liability. Is there an answer to that?
So I guess the question is basically, what Darren was asking is that if the road is not cleared and there's an emergency and the fire services or animal services can't get to the property, but it's a private, it was live and off the question.
Here, Tom can.
Just a second.
Tom, sorry about that.
Yes.
So what happened? There.
Yes.
Back.
Sorry, Tom. What I said was, the question that Darren is asking, and Bill might be able to speak to it, is if it's a privately maintained road, so privately maintained road, which we have in 12 Broken Knolls Pond, speaking in terms of our development regulations, if the road is not accessible, say snowstorm or something happens, if emergency services can't get there, who's liable? That was the question. Darren, that was the question you asked?
Yes, liability, yes.
So in those cases, private roads and the people who own the land and the road are responsible for those roads being maintained. It's the same thing. We don't maintain the roads on other private areas, right? They get snow clearing and they maintain the roads themselves. And in this case, it would be no different. We have some approvals that have been given to lots and land inside of Stephenville's municipal boundary, which don't meet the requirements by previous approvals that were given, that we're now working on trying to work closely with developers to make sure that it's, and some of these have been brought to council's attention as well. So in those cases, council does, if it's something we approve and it's incorrect, but in this case, we're talking about a private road. Part of that private road and part of this land is now looked after by the town of Stephenville up to the gate, okay? So that area would be subject to the same development approvals that we would do for any land in our town, although it does have the problems associated with ensuring that there's 1 acre lots minimum size of 1 acre lot, and that the setbacks and everything are normal for our town plan, as per our town plan. On the areas to the other side, which are private and the road is not held or owned by the town, that will be handled differently, and it's totally the responsibility of the parties that own that land. And they would have to ensure that they had the government approvals before it would be brought to us. We would then review those applications, including reviewing the locations and plans of those to ensure that they meet fire requirements otherwise. And if they didn't, they wouldn't get a permit to proceed. It would be no different from any other road in town, albeit it's still owned and controlled by the private landowner and not in the, not in this case. So the gate is the mark.
And that's where our responsibility ends.
Correct.
Legal responsibility ends for anything.
Correct. And really, we, as far as the road goes, as far as the design, that would be then our planning and development people who would review an application that is brought to Service Newfoundland and Labrador, and we get added to the consultation prior to us approving. So they'd have to get a Service NL approval first, and that would have the measurements associated with fire and life safety as a part of that. And then they'd be reviewed by our own fire chief and our town planning and development office. And from there, then we would either approve or deny a plan. So that's how it would work.
Okay.
Councillor Roberts, in 1993, 94, 1997.
Laura, just
Pardon?
hang on a second. No, just hang on a second. We have Councillor O'Brien here was saying something. You guys can't hear him well, but go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Can't hear him.
So, yeah, that's why I'm saying we need to defer it. We need to keep it. What are we going to provide? It's one thing. Windstorm becomes an emergency. After you mean,
Okay, Tom, thank you. You were cutting out a little bit there, but I think we got the gist of what you're saying.
No, sorry. Can you, because I never got any of that.
Tom, Councillor Roberts didn't get any of that. Okay, you want to just try it one more time, because if not, we're just going around in a circle right now.
Yeah. No.
Can't hear him still.
No, still can't hear. Sorry.
Okay,
Somebody must have heard. Could somebody repeat it?
Am I right, Tom, to say that you are trying to say that you still don't feel like there's enough information to make a decision?
exactly. There's not enough information. How is this going to be enforced? It's all right after.
Okay, yeah. Tom,
It's
do
all
you have
right.
any specific?
It's all right.
Do you have any specific one that you want to bring forward?
To enforce all of this.
Okay.
Okay.
That was fire protection law going to be delivered. What hearing standards? All this stuff needs to be built into this up front.
Do you want to ask
Yeah,
managers if they feel that they haven't?
that's next one. Yeah. Councillor Bryan, I want to talk to the management, and I also need to talk to the town clerk, because we need to bring this to a closure on what to bring forward.
So what's the question?
Feel you have enough information to make a decision at this point, or do you feel that it's not enough, you should bring it back in?
Well, the question around liability is what Darren Roberts has had. Like, I know, like, when we get permit applications come back, like, we know that, myself and Bill already said, like, we're confident on the zoning piece, we're confident on the provincial regulation. We have it in writing from a service now that there's no effect on the watershed. And I know that that's not Darren and Tom's and everyone's concern. We got all that covered. Now the covering is going along liability along private roadways. And like I said, I'm not a legal expert, so I don't feel that I should be speaking to liabilities on that end of it, but I think Bill, you clearly stated that you know, there is no liability on the town.
Yeah.
Well,
Bill, can I say a few words? I mean, Mr. Chairperson, Maurice,
Yes, go
Councillor
ahead,
Hines.
Councillor, yes. Please.
Number one, that road was given to the town. The main road, Hillier Avenue, was given to the town of Stephenville. And in 1997, we made a motion that they were entitled to services because they were paying the same mill rate as the town of Stephenville taxpayers were paying. So the motion was made, we approved garbage collection, and we approved clearing of the road. And Councillor O'Brien kept saying to me, nobody clears my driveway. That road is not a driveway. Like I said, it's been used for over 30 years. There's been no major problems up there in that area ever. People up there are very responsible. They take care of their properties, the people that are up there now. And like I said, we've done everything possible other than get the premier to come out here and go up and down and whatever. We've done everything possible. I don't know where else there is to go. Dr. Gale, an expert in the field of all that water resource and all kinds of stuff. He's done over and over. It's in writing that he would approve at least up to 15 homes. So I don't know what else we need to do. To me, this is a joke. It really is.
Thank you, Councillor, but I think we need to, I'm going to refer to the town clerk for a minute, please. So, Jennifer, we need to decide either to vote on the motion here. Okay, sorry, Tom. Either we vote on the motion, okay, and it will be accepted or defeated, or we make a new motion that it will be deferred till we get a further design.
Okay.
Okay.
Call for a vote on the motion.
Okay, I think the town clerk's looking at, we'll take one thing at a time.
Sure.
Is that right, Jennifer?
So if there's a motion brought forward that someone wishes to defer, that's brought forward, someone would have to second that, and then you would have to vote on deferral. But that has to be a motion and seconded, whereas right now you have a motion and a seconder to approve.
Okay, Councillor O'Brien has made a motion that it be deferred. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay. A seconder. All in favor of deferral?
Aye.
Aye. Councillor O'Brien? Okay. Motion carried. Okay.
so you gotta get the ones who are against.
Okay, and those who are against?
Against?
Okay, two, okay, Councillor Albert and Councillor White. Okay. No, it's not tied. Okay. Okay, the resolution carried. Okay.
You mean
thank
for deferral?
Yes, that's right, Councillor. Okay, Councillor O'Brien, we're going to, that part's over now.
So
Okay.
now the prior motion basically has been deferred, so there's nothing else.
There's nothing else.
Well, I got to
Okay.
say this much. This is the most disappointing, in all of my years on council, this is the most disappointing vote I ever saw in my life. I'm ashamed of you guys.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay.
I guess I'll take over the chair.
There you go.
Okay, we have item number 11, fall cleanup. The town of Stevens will offer a fall cleanup period with curbside pickup on October 6th through October 10th. Debris will be picked up on the same day as residents' regular scheduled garbage day. Weekly regular household garbage and recycling must be separated as a standard policy. Residents can also drop off waste from September 29th to October 3rd at the Town of Stevens Public Works Department, located at 56 Wisconsin Drive, from 8:30 to 4 p.m. Residents are required to provide proof of residency. So I just want to pass that out. But item number 9, we do have an election signage policy. And before I go through this, I just want to remind every candidate that you have been provided with all the details on the signage policy in your package. And there are certain corridors that you can't put signs. And I noticed there's a couple of candidates with signs down by the cenotaph. That's not permitted. So I'll read this policy just for clarity for the 14 candidates that are running. So the purpose of this policy is to ensure that election signs are used effectively and fairly within the town boundaries while not taking away from the aesthetics of the community. This policy shall take effect immediately upon council's adoption. The election sign shall be subject to the following conditions. Number 1, no person shall display or permit the display of election sign on private property unless the private property owner or occupant gives consent and the sign does not provide an obstruction to neighboring properties. Number 2, no person shall display or permit the display of an election sign on any portion of the road allowance between the sidewalk and private property line or between the roadway and private property line. Number 3, election signs shall be permitted on vacant land owned by the town of Stephenville, with the exception of land around the town hall. Provided the signs do not cause an obstruction to the traveling public, you got to be cognizant of your signage right at the intersections. The work of council, and provided the signs are not an obstruction to traffic. Number 4, all signage shall be removed immediately within 36 hours following the election. Any signage still in place at that time will be removed by the town of Stephenville at the owner's expense. No permit fee shall be required for election signs. Number 6, a candidate or his or her agents cannot campaign or distribute materials physically or electronically, social media, at any polling station within 30 meters of the entrance of the polling station. Number 7, candidates are also advised to respect requirements from Newfoundland Power and NL schools on the placement of election signs. Newfoundland Power advises that election signs or other obstructions or hazards are not allowed on or in the close proximity to poles upon which workers are required to work. NL schools advises that election signs cannot be placed on any school grounds and that any signs placed on school properties in contravention of this request shall be removed. Unlit signs only are permitted, so no solar panels and fluorescent lighting and all that good stuff. Number 9, signs must be checked periodically by the owner, and dilapidated or unkept signs may be removed by the town of Stephenville. We are in the hurricane season. Let's hope we don't get them, but they can do a lot of damage. Number 10, the town of Stephenville branded materials and official town logo is not permitted to be used on any candidate's materials, including signage, brochures, online social media, or print mediums. I would ask the member of council that we move this signage policy. Moved by Councilor Myra White, second. Councilor Maurice Hines, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Did we lose Councilor Roberts?
I think we did.
See if we can get him back.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing being said. We just, Darren dropped from the call, so we're trying to get in touch with Darren again. Yeah. Stand by.
We have a quorum to pass that motion, should we not get them back on?
Ah, okay, I think we got him.
Sorry, that lost my connection.
Okay,
Okay, we just completed the new signage policy that was circulated. We just asked for a vote. Are you in favor of the new policy?
Yes.
Mover and seconder, did you get that?
We had the mover and seconder, all in favor?
aye.
I,
Carry. Anything late for that?
Just that we have a privileged requirement following this for about 15, 20 minutes. I'd advise the other counselors at the table, but
Yes,
to those who are online.
okay. Bill?
I
So
wanted
just if you-
to,
15 to 20 minutes.
okay.
Yeah, Tom, just a second, Tom O'Brien. Tom, we wanted to do 15 to 20 minute privilege items following this meeting, if you're able to stay online. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, I'll open up item 11 for new business. Any new business?
Yeah, yeah. But I
Go
got a
ahead.
couple of things. I want to remind people that the Terry Fox Run is on again this year at the YMCA at 12 o'clock registration coming up this Sunday. And it's probably going to be the first one that I'll be missing, but I will be sending my donation. The other thing, I've heard rumblings. I haven't checked it out. I've heard a rumor. And when I get back next week, I will be calling the powers that be. But Mr. Mayor, maybe you can check with someone that might know. I heard rumblings that there's something going on at our hospital, that they're taking away our courtyard for some other reason. And they're taking away the cafeteria space for some kind of a new technical system or something. I don't know all the details. It's just a rumor. And I want to make sure that there's nobody going to be tampering with our hospital to change those two areas that we vitally use. The cafeteria is used for the staff they go in and have their lunches and their breaks and everything else. And it's a good place to go. When you're working a shift for 12 hours, you want a place other than your desk or in a little tiny room somewhere to have your meal, to be able to go to the cafeteria and have your meal. And the courtyard is used for different things like our Tree of Love in December and things like that. And there's talk about it's going to be used for storage. So there's some things going on there that I feel someone should have a look into it. And I certainly will be when I get back next week, because that's not good enough. And I want to congratulate Stephenville Crossing for being approved for a 150-bed long-term care center in Stephenville Crossing, and to replace the old one that was built in 1976 with 114 beds. And you got to have two people in a room, and as really the terrible situations our seniors are in that facility that's outlived its use. And I think that's good for the area, good for the region. The powers that be in Western Health, because it's always be Western Health to me. It seems they're always trying to take something from us or downgrade us, or they take our doctors and they take this and that, they take our services, or trying to, and that got to be stopped. We have to be speaking out more publicly on that, because enough of that's going on. We don't want to lose that. So anyway, that's about all I got to say.
Okay, thank you. I would recommend that management contact Tara Freak and Daniel Shea to get an update on that rumor, so we can get it validated if it is correct or not.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else for new business?
Yeah, just Mr. Mayor, just a thank you to the town staff and I guess to all of them who have been instrumental in having the road paved at the cenotaph, of taking away some of the concrete that was no longer functioning, and especially for the sidewalk or the crosswalk that went in for Remembrance Week. Thank you very much.
I say we have an amazing management team at the town of Stephenville. We have worked very hard in change management, bringing the necessary skills and qualifications. And the evidence is the great work that's being done in Stephenville. I know we still got one more public meeting. And we may have a special meeting at some point in time. You never know. Let's hope we don't have to declare a state of emergency, but sometimes the mayor has those powers. So anyways, I just want to talk on a couple of things. First of all, I want to recognize that we lost a very strong, influential man that had an impact on me in my life. I guess I grew up as a woods person and sawmills and whatnot, but Mr. Vince Kerfon passed away at a great age of 94 years old. And I remember in the early days, renowned as probably one of the strongest workers known in the region. And you know, I grew up, I still swing chainsaws and log and stuff like that, but I remember poor Dr. Squires once said, and being a doctor, I guess you see a lot of different people in your career. But he said the people that were in the best physical shape were the woodsmen and the loggers. And Vince Kerfont was evidence of that. So to himself, his family that I went to school with, I just want to pass on our sincere condolences. I'd also like to mention that Father Maurice Hines is in hospital and had a fall in his home. And our thoughts and prayers are with himself, the clergy, and the diocese that exists under his tenure as a very influential priest in Stephenville. Couple things I want to mention.
You're not including that, because I just had one thing.
Oh, you want to bring something up? Okay, go ahead.
Just, we had some concerns expressed. And sorry, we haven't had a chance to mention it to councillors. The town had to block the road on Carolina the other day. We had to basically divert and detour people. Our town staff was harassed. People were trying to drive around the embutments that were put up blocking the road. It was all properly signed. It had stop signs and barriers, and we had a flag person, and still the general public abused people. There was road rage going on when people couldn't get by. It was ridiculous, according to the staff who advised us what happened. And it's very concerning when the public don't understand that a barrier means you can't take your bus or whatever and go on down and try to get around. You know, that's really what happened.
It's dangerous.
And it's very dangerous because our people are out there. There are more accidents with people doing road work throughout North America than any other part of construction sites. So really, and we had, you know, specified the area, it was advertised, it was, you know, publicized properly, and there was actual maintenance that had to go on there. So we had no choice but to do this. And anyway, and it went on later on than we thought, because of course we had people who were taken away from trying to get the work done, who were then dealing with people who were pulling up in cars saying, I just want to go through, you know, that sort of thing can happen. So I wanted it to be the public to be aware that this had happened, and it's it was very concerning, and it was brought to us as a safety concern by our staff who were out there on the job in that area. And certainly, look, you know, the couple of minutes it takes you to go around is not going to change person's day that much. So really, we wanted it to be known with the through the publicity of you know, carrying this on the internet and also on the record that it won't be tolerated. And people who do these things wrong, there were a number of license plates, pictures taken, and they were going to be submitted to the RCMP for you know, follow-up, right?
I think that's the big thing. When there are crimes being committed and, you know, disobeying safety for our workers, that is a crime. And should charges have to be press them. That's my take on it.
Mr. Mayor, we also should remember and give our condolences to the family of a very prominent and qualified and specialist in St. John's, Dr. Gulliver. He was a hero and a founder, I guess, and in the field of dermatology. I'd say one of the best in the country. And according to reports on Facebook and other places, Dr. Gulliver took his own life, and at the age of 67, I believe. So condolences to his family, to all his patients, and to our province, especially.
Okay, thank you. So as the mayor of the great town of Stephenville, this is probably my second last public meeting, and I just wanted to go over some of the things that has happened over the last 8 years while I've been the mayor. And I think it's important because as a council, this council, even the previous one, sometimes residents will take snapshots at us and question this and question that. And for the most part, let's say 90%, they're not accurate and they're not informed. So a couple of things I want to go over. So in the last 8 years, we spent approximately $20 million on capital upgrades in the town of Stephenville. That's everything from water and sewer projects like this year, Main Street, Road Avenue. It's upgrades to the Stephenville Dome with innovation around making it a smaller energy footprint. Most of the projects are 80-20. Sometimes they could be 70-30, sometimes they could be 50-50. But big projects are normally 80-20. We only got to pay 20%. So we spent $20 million making Stephenville better. But the taxpayers only had to pay approximately $4 million because $16 million came from the federal government and the provincial government. So I just want to quantify that. That is recommended on a municipal capital works program that comes from the management team. And let me clearly say that if anybody's questioning our finances are in really good shape because every municipality in this province, and there are 256 of them, by the way, you cannot borrow and take on a project unless your finances are in order. You can't borrow unless you get approval from municipal affairs. So we've heard some of that in the past, so I just want to clarify that. The other one we've heard was our water systems. Well, I've been 10 years straight now on council. Since I've been on council this last 2 years in a by-election as a councillor, 8 years as the mayor, we have never shut the water off in Stephenville in totality. Now, when you get a little water break, you got to shut off that area of town. We've never lost the water. And that's indicative of to the management team that we have. We have one of the best water systems. We have 10 plus wells that are all independent. So if one well goes down, we still got 9. You see what happened to CBS? They got one line coming in. That line breaks, they got a problem. They had to create a state of emergency. So we have one of the best water systems. Our water has never been shut off since I've been the mayor. Just saying that. Recreation, we have disc golf courses. We just had approvals to upgrade the Y, close to $3 million. Is that correct? We've been doing some good work. We are the first town to do disc golf. We are the mecca of disc golf. We were the first town in the province to do it. We have national attention on us. And what's great about that, it is free. And it's outside and it's good for the community. We built dog park in Stephenville, very highly utilized. And it's because of leadership in the past couple of councils. We've also set up a disabilities and accessibility committee to enhance accessibility in our town. We built more sidewalks in our town. Our town now, every time we see footprints and worn trails, we realize there's high foot traffic. And sidewalks might be a little costly and you got to clear them in the winter, but it keeps people safe and it gets people off the road for a potential collision and a fatality that could happen. In 2022, we brought the world to Stephenville. The German Chancellor, the Prime Minister, 25 of Germany's CEOs, elites came in under the watch of this council. Our public works played a critical role. We used the Steamville Industrial Facility to host this world event, signatured as the single largest political signing in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador. Big statement. What else have I got here? I also want to say that as a council, you can't be too centric in why you're coming to the table. We all have our interests and whatnot, but council must be balanced. You got your core responsibilities, your water, your sewer, the snow clearing, garbage pickup. But municipalities are bigger than that. It's community. We have put out approximately $40 million a year, last 8 years while I've been the mayor, to community groups to help those volunteers that do so much work in our town. When we look back, you look at our murals here, we promote our culture and who we are. And my family lines go back to 1763. The land that we live on, farm, forest, we've been on that land before town Steamville was a town. Just want to say that. But we promote our indigenous, our Mi'kmaq culture, our French culture. We've been doing some really good work there. I also want to say that not everything goes well for a council. So we had the airport shut down. I'm confident it's going to open up in the private sector. But in the last 2 years, we saved the taxpayers about $1 million because we weren't underwriting and keep paying the payroll and paying the lights at the airport. We were hoping for better results. Maybe the future is better and there's opportunities ahead. But remember, there's been councils in the past that had rough days too. Let's hope the next council won't. In 1966, there was a mayor when the air base closed. Not a great day in Steamville. In the 1970s, early 80s, when the linerboard mill closed, there was a mayor in Steamville and council. Not a happy day in Steamville. 1989, when Air Canada pulled out of Steamville, wasn't a happy day for Mayor Walsh, I believe, at the time. And in 2005, I believe Mayor Stein was the mayor when Abitibi Price closed. Not a great day for Steamville. 250 people lost their jobs. So sometimes you take a hit, but you continue to move on. Steamville is a very strong community. It's my hope that the people get elected around this table come with a moral compass. A moral compass to do what's right. Leave politics and partisan politics behind. Do what's right. And sometimes that doesn't happen. On that note, I'm going to call for an adjournment.
I shall move.
Moved by Councillor Myra White, second.
Second.
Councillor Maurice Hines, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Carried. Meeting adjourned. It is 1:24 p.m.
Mr. Mayor, can we take a break